Hi guys, welcome. So first, an apology. We've been really busy. There's been a lot of great movies and a lot of great TV shows out lately. I'm starting a new job soon, and probably going to be moving next year. So it's just been a really big time for changes. Matthew and our one-time guest Bjorn will be coming to see me in the States soon. So look forward to that. So as you can see, and my dad and mom's birthday are just around the corner, as well as Thanksgiving. So we've all been pretty much busy as bees.
Indeed, 2 jobs.
So we're sorry for not keeping any sort of semblance of the schedule, but this is YouTube, and we're not even getting paid for this. So
You right?
What can you expect? Nothing. Gotcha. Okay. Anyways, so this is monthly manga reviews. I'm your host, Josiah, and I'm here with our 2 regular guests and co-hosts, Matthew Ferrugia.
Hello,
Oh no.
Sorry,
It's okay. Matthew sounds sick, but he's just participating in No Nut November, so he's back.
storing power, yes. No, I'm Matthew Ferrugia. I'm having a grand old time over here. Not feeling the grandest. But I am here to partake in some manga. That's what truly matters. That's what does the body good and will help me get back into fighting shape. So I'm here for y'all, folks.
Alright, then we have Jonathan Youngblood.
Hi. On this Sunday, I have the power of God and anime on my side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we dive into the very religious manga Tende Freeze.
Truly.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Probably the most controversial one we've read.
I would say so.
Is it really?
Well, if we want to talk about controversy, then we can we can go with something pretty straightforward here, the character designs. Now, Josiah, I am looking at an image of the main female protagonist, and I have to tell you right now, I don't think Sakurai would let her into Smash. I'm not really feeling that he would be too supportive. That's more of a franchise for good boys and girls only, and I'm not seeing very many good girls here, so,
Now, Matthew, if I'm reading the mood correctly, if I'm understanding what you're saying, you're trying to tell me that Isutoshi is trying to make hoes mad?
Hoes are in fact furious right now just looking at these incredible character designs, Josiah. That's right.
Is there anything I learned from Twitter recently is that women cannot be sexualized. No. Where are her organs? And only women can sexualize other women unless we deem them a man, and then they come out on Twitter and say that they are a woman, and then we delete the tweet.
That's right.
Okay.
Do you want to know what the most...
Like I said, it's going to be very political.
Yes.
I can hear the holes being mad already.
Do you want to know what's incredible about this? Tende Freeze is not technically a hentai, but it is available on actual hentai sites to read next to the actual pornography. So, we are really skirting the line with this one, yes.
Well, just like other works from Isutoshi, it's, we get top nudity, but nothing below that. So, it's very ecchi, it's very suggestive, but it's never explicit.
Not quite, no. It's true.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, except for that time that, what was it, in Aiki, when he snuck into his cousin's room in the first chapter. But,
That's true.
That was almost exactly explicit. Oh, no, wait, no, there was actually sex in Aiki, that's right.
Yeah.
I forget, there's three instances, but it's never explicit, it's never more than one panel, and it's never explicit, so.
It's not so bad.
There's that. But like we said, Isutoshi is not scared to draw, these things, but the most probably controversial part of this is the fact that it's an allegory. It's about exposing female predators taking advantage of younger men.
More
Truly.
As we can see, Umehachi, our main character, is a 17-year-old in high school. And he gets taken advantage of by Koyuki. She's what, 26, 27?
Yeah, about that. That's a bit of an age difference.
A decade.
Not unheard of, but nonetheless, a little bit of an age difference, yes.
It is commented on.
Yes. In fact, in Japan, it's not that different because of, age of consent is 14 in Japan. And so, but here in the United States, it would definitely be a skirting line with, a pedophile.
Yes.
Oh no, what did you call it? Friggin', gosh, Botan, like, literally scoots her chair across the restaurant and just like, oh, you're really taking him in young, huh?
Well, that's more of a joke on the fact of Umehachi's appearance is that he looks like a 6th grader.
Yeah.
He is so short that he looks like a 6th grader, even though he's 17 years old. Once they find out that he's 17, that kind of dispels that sort of energy around Koyuki.
Truly.
So, in the same way that Aiki is all about martial arts, Tende Freeze is all about espers and psychic powers. And so, much like Psycho Mob 100, almost all of the espers have a sort of unique power in which they specialize. Koyuki can look into someone's future briefly. Botan can change the temperature of objects she touches, mostly just heat them up. And let's see, what was it? The third, let's see, Suhama. Suhama, she can use light to distort things visually, an optical illusion. And so, we see all different types of espers in this. And so basically a 17-year-old is thrown into the world of espers when he does not find out, but when the espers find out that he can magnify their powers to a certain degree.
Indeed.
And so that's why Koyuki gets a relationship with him, because she wants to magnify her powers, making it easier for her to be successful without working harder.
Indeed. She finds herself in very fortunate situations for her.
She literally kicks a car door to knock a gun out of a guy's hand when he was going to kill her. She's quite lucky to have him around when he is around, because not only does she save his life, but through his amplification, it saves her life several times over, even though it does, upset get into Harry's situations just as much as well. It's definitely a double-edged sword, because if they use the amplify powers too much, then they overheat them basically, and they can't use they go down to minimal states for a while. Which is constant gag, because they're always, by the time they need to use their powers after amplifying them, they can't either turn it off or they can't turn it on. So,
gosh. I enjoy that with. I enjoyed that a lot with Botan in Two Thugs, where she just runs across, taps him on the shoulder, just like, now you're gonna get it, and then she just notices her powers are gone, and then she just kind of walks.
Well, no, she wasn't. She kicks him in the groin, doesn't she?
Oh, oh no, it's not until like she's just like, I need to go, and then she kicks him. Yeah. She had the like.
On that, but when she almost burns everybody in her apartment alive.
Yeah.
No, not to mention the scene in the Love Hotel, which comes close to a number of fatalities there as well. But yeah.
Oh yes, because she almost kills people by freezing them. Yes.
Oh no, sorry, that was the freezing scene. You're right. I'm getting these mixed up a bit.
Yeah, because eventually once she touches Umehachi enough, it turns into that she can take away heat. She can either add heat or take away heat, basically temperature control. Yeah. So, and she wants the control so she can have the ultimate liquor experience, where she can keep her hot sake hot and then her beer cold.
Yeah. Botan is best character. Oh my freaking gosh.
What else would you use
Botan
it
as
for?
queen. I mean, she even without using her powers, she shipwrecked them
Yes.
by overusing the electronics on Umahachi's friend's dad's boat.
Yeah.
And wore down the battery that they couldn't start up the engines again. And let's see here. And then what is it? She goes out with that guy. Forget his name.
Oh, the teacher, yeah.
The other teacher, the young teacher.
The
Yeah.
only one who's not a fat, middle-aged, balding man. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and so she basically uses him for free meals and just fun whenever she wants it, but she doesn't take him seriously. Even though he's basically willing to marry her at any time, and he comes from a wealthy background.
But he's not silly or fun.
Yep.
Man. Tragic.
Takasaka. That's his name. Takasaka.
What now? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, Saka.
But,
And not long after that, we come across Suhama, who comes to join the school to spy on our poor main protagonist.
yes, because Koyuki's taking up more jobs and more difficult jobs, and it's become apparent that her powers are growing at some weird rate. So they come to investigate it inside the Esper Society. And what is it? Matsu, Umahachi's mom, who is large and in charge. Her Esper ability, which she does not understand and even know that she has, is the wears things down basically.
Yeah.
It enforces wear and tear on objects. And she just thought that she was getting strong because she was an old volleyball player. And so she's become obsessed with physical strength. And so she's really buff and really tall and looks almost nothing like Umehachi. So
she's anime She-Hulk.
She is. Yeah.
basically.
I also do have to point out that the chapter that revolves around nothing but her daily life is arguably my favorite chapter in the whole manga. They have weird breaks in the pacing of the series here.
Yeah, the main storyline.
Yeah, where they'll do nothing but focus on like a side character's whole day, like they did with the principal towards the end.
Or they're just the principal's the principal's best character, not Botan. I'm sorry.
That's
fair. Saved
He
all
is
those
a
kittens.
former masked wrestler. And is hard. What he doesn't ever say a word,
Nope,
does he?
Never.
Yeah. He has a vow of silence. He's a masked wrestler, and he still keeps up in shape. And he is a hero among heroes. He is a king among kings.
Loves his cats.
Yep.
Has 20 of them. It's a little much.
They
need to
just
save
attract
them
to
all.
him because of his power
That's
level. But all in all, without going into any real spoiler territory, is that it's a fun gag manga with a little bit of ecchi here and there. Some very obvious jokes. It's definitely Isutoshi's humor, classic humor, and it's besides the what was it? Umehachi's grandfather basically just being Hojo.
Yeah.
Which might actually be Hojo. But I don't know if the universes are connected in any way. But it's definitely a fun read. It's a short read. There's just 41 chapters, right?
36.
42 chapters.
46?
36.
Oh, I thought it went to 40.
Yeah, it went to 40. I thought it did.
Let me check here. Overview. Blip, 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 blip. No, 36 chapters. You're right.
Oh, sure.
There you go.
Yeah. But no, it's a fun short read, and you get enough time with the characters to really learn who they are, and it's not. It shows a lot of the same aesthetic and a lot of the same style as Aiki, but besides the humor, there's not much else that ties it to it completely. But besides the main character just being an idiot, but who's not secretly a martial arts genius, so don't expect that. But, like I said, it's a fun short ride, so I would definitely recommend checking it out. After reading Aiki, it's definitely a good companion.
Yes. It's also worth pointing out that it's good in the sense of it being digestible. On our list of recommended works for this series, actually, Tende Freeze was the shortest one on there. So if you're really looking...
And that's why it took us the longest to record this.
If you're really looking for something that you can wolf down in 1 or 2 sittings, this is not out of the question. So if you're tight on time, then 10-Day Freeze is a good time.
Yeah. And plus it's kind of like, I don't know, I want to... There's popcorn type media where you can just like kind of go through and go through and go through without like really just like it's not something that you're just like, oh, I need to know. It's just like, yeah, I'm chilling out here. I'm just like going through the pages and I can keep going through the pages. And I feel like that as a whole is good for this book. Especially the fact that it's a fun gag manga, just with the whole like variety of nice fun characters, and until it gets to that big Esper arc towards the end. It's a fun read.
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about the reason why we're here. Okay, Steven Universe.
That's right.
Bait and switch.
4 of you.
You actually walked in.
Far after
you actually walked in
relevant.
Yeah.
It's time for the Steven cast.
I just want to mention that Rebecca Sugar, the creator of Steven Universe, that her art director is the guy she's dating. Just so you know.
Oh gosh.
Before they started the show, by the way.
Oh no.
Oh jeez. Put her on blast, why don't you?
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't put her on so much blast, except for some of the people who have worked on it over the years on Twitter have said that they are literally like a power couple that abuses artists.
Oh no.
Verbally.
That's not good.
You. But they do get very mean with some of their staff. But all this is just hearsay, though. I can't confirm or deny it, but enough of it has surfaced that it makes it fairly believable.
That's sad.
Yeah,
that's sad.
They're kind of nasty, but they're never going to be, like Todd Howard nasty. And that's the highest possible bar.
I don't know. Blizzard's making a good case for. Now the real reason you guys stayed, we're gonna go piece by piece into the Hong Kong conspiracy.
I should have said Randy Pitchford, who has actually hit his employees apparently. But Todd Howard probably works just as well.
Yes, Todd Howard, the magician. What does he have on his flash drive? Who knows? It's magic.
He has all manner of fine, illicit images on his flash drive.
Let's see, what... Oh, yeah, there was the Jake Paul versus... or Logan Paul versus KSI fight last night.
Yeah.
Part 2.
How's that?
I don't know if any of them won. I don't really care. I just know that internet comment... Eric with the internet comment etiquette went to the fight and got really sloshed and live streamed some of it on Twitter with no context, so they couldn't take it down.
So there you go.
I'm glad that we really did the double bait and switch like this, because I've never seen a single episode of Steven Universe. That would have been awkward.
Oh no, but you've seen Steven's Universe.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, no.
All three Steven's Universe. Oh, have you not seen Steven's Universe?
No, I've seen Steven's Universe.
Oh, good.
Okay, well, we're gonna YouTube. We're gonna review our next review. We put it down here. Okay, it's gonna be the 3-part YouTube poop series, Steven's Universe. Okay,
It's
in the books right now.
I can't 100% say this because I haven't seen the show, but I'm willing to bet it's the best thing that has come from that show.
Besides the there's a lot of Steven Universe YouTube poop out there, and Steven Universe is definitely in the top, but there's some ones that are way above it. That have been taken down for certain reasons, but
Yeah.
it's now if you ever want to see what a sloppy universe Rebecca Sugar has put together, which I like the universe of Steven Universe. I like a lot of what the world building is. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely themes and characters I like in the show, but it's just the way that it's put together is not well done.
That's fair.
And it's a little lazy, and sometimes it's very confusing. And a lot of people say, well, continuity. Everybody's so hyped up on continuity these days, but it doesn't have to all be, great continuity. But the problem with that is when creators go and they come along and they try and set up with the intent for that continuity, and then they break their own promises. That's where the hypocrisy comes from, not from shows that don't have this great sense of continuity to begin with. Because The Simpsons has almost its continuity changes every season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff happens. Homer has 18 different teenage years stories, stuff like that. Whereas Futurama, made also by Matt Groening, is one of the most coherent, continuity-filled TV adult animation shows ever made, where there is 100% continuity. So, that's the biggest problem with me in Steven Universe, and some of the messages they're trying to peddle to children. But it's
Gaslight your friends.
well, it's there's such things as allegories and metaphors and subtlety, and then there's ham-fisting things in there for a younger audience, and you can't really ham-fist certain things in there because if they can't the human brain isn't fully developed until 25, kids. Okay? And up until that point, you can process a lot of stuff. Okay? But it's all in stages. And if your main audience you're marketing to is middle school children, you really shouldn't be hitting certain strides. So casually.
You can be progressive if you want to, but you can only be so progressive. You have to be careful. You have to be very careful. Rebecca Sugar was not careful enough.
That's going to be on my book. Rebecca Sugar was not careful
Yeah.
enough.
Oh, that's a good one. I like it.
I just have to get her to sign off on her name, because she could definitely sue me for the book.
Oh, man. Rebecca Sugar and J.K. Rowling get into a fist fight. Josiah, who do you want to see down for the count by the end?
Oh, J.K.
Okay,
Rowling,
there you
of
go.
course. Although she'll probably fix the game from the beginning because she's, worth more than the entire British Islands. But
I had to ask that because I know your history with Miss Rowling quite well.
oh, now I do not hate Rebecca Sugar. Let me make that clear, okay? I'm just saying that her projects are always half baked,
Right.
and they don't really turn out well. I think she has very good intentions. I think she's a very nice person, but the way that she runs her business sometimes, and the way that she produces things, is not as great as people think it is. And I'm just judging her by the quality of her work. I'm sure she's a nice... People have always talked... Because she used to work with Pendleton Ward on Adventure Time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, even Pendleton Ward's not the perfect guy. We could definitely get into some of the stuff he's done. Which is more legal trouble than actual, verbal abuse. But, it's, she's worked with a lot of people in the industry who say that she's a very nice and very creative person. I believe them, you don't make it that far without being, nice, to a certain degree. But no, J.K. Rowling. I like. It's the opposite with J.K. Rowling. I like her work. I like Harry Potter. I don't like the people who are 36 and have Harry Potter weddings and ask you first what house in Harry Potter you're in on dating sites. I think it's a bit extreme, just like Star Wars fans who are that extreme, who learn, like different Star Wars languages and all. There's definitely levels and magnitudes of fandom. But I like Harry Potter. I grew up during the time when it was coming out. I remember it coming out, the books and everything like that. And I like the books for the most part. It's very well written. What I don't like about J.K. Rowling is her attitude and the fact that she thinks that she knows what's best for Great Britain, and I keep up with a lot of British politics, and the fact that she's a walking hypocrite, and the fact that she has to retcon things in her book, and it's just how she said that she wanted Hermione to originally be black in Harry Potter, but then the publishers told her no, which never happened because there was now a stage play Harry Potter where Hermione is black, and that's fine because it's stage play. I don't care about that. It's just she's going back and telling lies to make herself seem more woke.
Indeed.
It's like how Kamala Harris, Democratic president nominee, says that she used to smoke weed and listen to Snoop Dogg and Tupac when she was in college, which they weren't artists when she was in college.
Oh, for fuck's sake. That is a bad shooting yourself in the foot moment.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Or like the fact that, Hillary Clinton during the last election cycle said that she had wrote into NASA saying that she wanted to be an astronaut, and they told her no because she was a girl, even though NASA wasn't even in operation when she was 10 years old. But it's just the little details. It's those sort of woke political lies that they do for just an attention grab that really make me, grinds my gears about the people personally. I could definitely understand separating the artist from the art. I believe there is a certain amount of leeway with that. Especially if the art is very dated and it turns out that that's not something we agree with anymore and the artist has changed, or rather if the art is very good and the artist is just a POS. So
looking at Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, looking at Rurouni Kenshin, but looking back, was it really that much of a leap?
Well, I read all of the manga and I still love it dearly to this day. It's one of my favorites. But there is a couple scenes in there where it's like, how did you address that character? Yeah, she's a little young, but okay, all right, okay. The setting is a different time period, but I guess we'll use that as a bit of leeway for this. We'll try to move on. Okay, all right, finish the series. That was good, but some of it's a little weird.
Jail time
Indeed. A little interesting, Kenshin, sometimes, yeah.
Oh, but that aside, though, just trying to be a hypocrite.
Right. No, I am glad that we finished with Tende Freeze early, so you had the chance to get your J.K. Rowling story off your chest, because that's been with you for quite a while now, so there you go.
Well, okay, so the real story is that whenever she campaigns to double the amount of Syrian refugees that the UK brought in, and mind you, she's doing this interview while in front of her fifth mansion, where she paid $60,000 to reinstall bushes in there because she didn't like the bushes that the mansion came with. And then she's sitting outside this while they're working on it, and they found the sales figures, of course, and confirmed all this information that I'm relaying to it. I held on to it because it's a ridiculous story, but she's telling there that people need to give more and let in more refugees from across like half from the other side of Europe, even though the countries over there won't open up their borders to them. And it just seems a little hypocritical that she is buying a fifth mansion when she should be donating to the causes she supposedly is guilting other people into funding. It just seems a little hypocritical. Whether or not the UK should have taken more, Syrian refugees is not my place to say. It's more of a societal decision, I believe. One for legislatures and such like that. But the fact that she is just blurting out all of this secondhand stuff to make herself look good while she's installing hedges that cost more than some people's annual salary.
Now,
Absolutely
does
fair.
this just come from me actually legitimately not understanding how... does this just come from me not understanding how rich people think? Or, like, am I just out of the loop here? Why do you need more than one home? Do you just want to, for a year, I'll go and live here? Is that it?
Well, yes, there's places where it's like multiple vacation homes, or like say that you're going to be working on a project for many years if you're an actor and actress, and so let's say they're shooting on location, or like for a TV series they're not shooting in LA. You go and buy a property near that. Now usually it's not a mansion. Usually it's like an apartment, or something where you can fix it up and then resell it very quickly.
Yeah, fair enough.
But a lot of these people sometimes, especially the big movie stars, sometimes they have months and months between jobs. And so, if they want to go stay at a different place, like Chris Pratt has a ranch that he lives at, like in Nevada or Arizona. I can't remember if it's Arizona or Nevada, but close enough to California, And so, he has his residence in California, but then he also has his farm out there. And so that's understandable, but no, multiple homes, it's really just for, it's an extended vacation home because, when you're not working, you usually make enough funds for, people who are fairly rich, or people who are so rich that they can work from home or, from a wireless point,
Right.
They can go wherever they want, and so you invest in other, properties outside of your, normal area. And you keep it like it is normally. Now, a lot of people would, suggest, buying a smaller property so it's easier to maintain if it's not your main one. But, some people are just so rich they don't even have to think about that. And the affluency spreads through their minds. Makes it hard for them to, because once you get used to a certain lifestyle, it doesn't make sense when people talk to you about lower lifestyles after a certain point.
Right. Yeah, which is where I'm getting thrown off here, because when I think of 6 mansions, all that I can really think of is like, okay, so if we're in winter, then if you want to go somewhere that's perhaps warmer for that half of the year, that makes sense, but otherwise, why the need? So I am glad that you... Yeah.
Well, there are also like mega celebrities and stuff like that, and if their house gets leaked, if their main residence gets leaked, so it's nice to also have a nice place where you can go to, in a reasonable distance from work that you have, where you can go to and get away. Not that J.K. Rowling has people crawling up her gates, but there's several different purposes, but then there are people who like Senator Bernie Sanders, who has 3 mansions. And that's a little bit of a controversial topic, so we're not going to get too deep into that. But, after getting that sweet money from Hillary back in 2016, bought another mansion, so... it's...
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders.
Let's not get too deep into American politics, because I do like Bernie Sanders as a person. Senator, I disagree with some of the stuff he says, but I think that he's generally a good guy and generally has good intentions with what he does. But I mean, we could debate on how profitable or how fruitful his ideas have become in Congress, but how many laws he's actually enacted, as a senator, but.
Oh gosh.
Right. Hey folks, welcome to the.
I still like him as a person. I'm not gonna vilify someone just because I don't agree 100% with their politics. We're all still people at the end of the day,
Welcome to the 10-day freeze a review.
Welcome to the Democratic Convention. We're discussing the last Democratic debate and 10-day freeze.
What a bizarre combination, but we're making it work, so why not?
It's what the people crave.
Yeah. Oh. Now,
Good gosh.
while we still have time to fill and we're still having a good time, we might as well also cover recent happenings. There is nothing wrong with that. Now, there are some meatier things that we can get into, but since we are already prone to covering media, particularly Japanese media, we can say I am deeply saddened by Sero, which is the Japanese equivalent to the ESRB, because I can't get no big titty ninjas anymore, and I don't know how to feel about this. In my life right now, I have to go play some DOA 6 if I want that, and I'm no Sterling, so I'm not quite interested. Thank you very much, Rich.
Didn't they have to take out the jiggly bits in that in a bit?
They toned it down.
Well, they thought about bringing it over like that, but then they just cut a couple things that they're like, no, we can't have that in games without giving it, like a pornographic rating.
Yeah, it's a weird situation where for DOA 5, for example, they had a big campaign of I'm a Fighter, which was designed to make the cast of DOA be taken in a more serious light, as opposed to the series' more pornographic roots. So now we have this.
Well, I mean, there's DOA and then there's DOA Extreme.
Yes, but it all stems from the same kind of perverted energy, and for.
Well, yes, but DOA Extreme is usually the more.
No, yeah, it's more on the nose.
Exclusive.
It's more on the nose for DOA Extreme, but as far as the ecchi energies are concerned, they're pretty much they stem from the same place. So seeing them try to push that for DOA 5 was strange to me, because it seems like you're alienating your fan base. But if it worked for whoever likes the actual gameplay engine but doesn't want it to feel quite so perverted, then good for them, but it doesn't seem like those people would fall in the majority. So to see them push it further for 6, where now it's just straight up like, oh, we got to take out these jiggles altogether, was kind of a odd move to me for the same reasons as 5. But now my not even showing up for Terry stage in Super Smash Brothers, and her also being bound by the same no jigger rule for DOA 6, which has her as a guest character, is it kind of feels like we're forgetting what Maya's character design was originally intended for, and also what the Dead or Alive games were meant to be. And this is how we're going in terms of
Also, it's just
our
cruel that
media as a
Sakurai's
whole.
bringing all this up during November.
Yes, of course. This is the direction that we're leaning for our media as a whole, as far as censorship is concerned. So we can't really stop this. It just feels off-putting when we're talking about Dead or Alive, of all things. So that's what's going on, but it doesn't feel super great. But by the sounds of it, Sakurai's hands were tied, so I'm not going to point fingers at the man. He loves his SNK, so I'll forgive him.
He loves his good boys and girls.
Yeah.
Let's see, more in world news. What is it? So the CDC finally released that people aren't dying from vaping, they're dying from poisoned Chinese vape juice they keep getting online illegally, which everyone has already said is the problem, but all the major news outlets keep saying it's just because of that gosh darn vape. And that anybody drooling it up could just die instantly. But yes, the CDC did confirm it was poisonous vape juice from China.
Finally.
Oh no, I can't believe China's in the news for this. They've been doing nothing else wrong recently.
They've been doing nothing but humanitarian missions.
Truly.
No. This one thing tarnishing their clean record. Oh, golly.
Indeed.
Who knew buying vape juice off Wish.com would come back to bite them so hard?
Next to your bondage straps.
Yes. Oh man, I found them recently, and I've been like, oh, they're not lying about these Wish memes whatsoever, huh?
Oh no.
There's the bondage straps right there.
But cock rings aside, so Pokemon Sword and Shield. What do you guys think?
We had this discussion once, and since then,
well, a lot has come out.
A lot
since then,
has come out since then, and quite frankly, it's only gotten worse.
Well, yay and nay. There was something. The last thing they announced. Do you know what it is? Is that you can actually change the nature of your Pokemon with certain items now?
The mints, yeah.
Yes, which making it to get perfect EVs and IVs so much easier now.
Yeah, like if you want to jack up your Pokemon in a specific ways for competitive play. Yeah, it's nice.
Well, yeah, the meta has completely been changed by that, and that's what I'm looking forward to most of this game is the meta. It doesn't really bother me that much that there's no national decks, because, there's been so many, and most of the time I end up just using either my favorites that are available, because there are some games where certain Pokemon aren't available except for through trading with other games. This is not something that isn't new. To this degree, though, because we've been building up the national decks, and the last couple Pokemon have had, nearly complete ones, but what was it? It's like X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire all had version-specific Pokemon in the national decks that you can have. And so, it's to a higher degree than what we're used to, and there's definitely a lot of starters left out, but I want to give the game a shot at the very least, because Nintendo isn't one to drop projects, even though this is Game Freak, I bet Nintendo's giving them, some of that cash money.
Right.
And, it's their first 3D console venture, and so even though you could definitely argue that the Switch Lite is a handheld.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's I don't know. It's definitely rough around the edges, and they definitely seem like they ran out of time. But it definitely feels to me like Nintendo's pushing the envelope on the due date. And so I feel like the next entry in the series is going to be much better. But I'm also just interested to see all the new everything they put into the game.
Under normal circumstances, I'd be inclined to agree with you when it comes to even if it takes a lot of struggle with getting your Pokemon there, the option's still there. But this time around, the unfortunate situation is it's no longer a matter of your own hard work to have multiple consoles or a Pokemon bank and trade things up. Even if you're willing to go all 9 yards, it still doesn't even matter anymore because now they're not even coded into the game, which is the breaking point for me where now I go this is a franchise about amassing and collecting a wide number of monsters that a lot of people are very attached to, and to cut out a large portion of that to the point where they're not even coded into the game anymore. It's too much of a sting for me to want to defend them, to be honest.
Jonathan, you have any input?
I've been out of the Pokemon series for a while. So competitively, I went through Pokemon Battle Simulator.
Oh.
With a friend earlier. I believe it's Pokemon Rumble. I can't remember the title off the top of my head. Pokemon Showdown. Pokemon Showdown is what it's called. And you can go from top to bottom every gen and automatically set how you want your team set and battle it that way. I went into that and I had no clue what I was doing. And I was just like, this is not why I played the Pokemon games back in the day. Yeah. And that type of world is not for me. And so, hearing how Pokemon Sun and Moon were very much hand-holdy and everything, it just, as we move forward and I'm not hearing interesting story things. I'm not hearing interesting exploration things. I'm just like, meh. Miss me with that new Pokemon. Just over me. Nothing.
I am glad that that you started to dip your toe into Pokemon Showdown, because if you want to have something with every Pokemon released to date, then that's going to be the only method that you'll have to even pull that off.
Oh, yeah.
So probably the right time for it. But yeah, I don't really feel it needs to be elaborated too much further. Pretty much everyone within our community and social circle has voiced their thoughts, and both you and I, Josiah, listened to Castle Super Beast, so the reset the clocks for Pokemon have been keeping you nice and updated too. So no, there's not too much to say that we don't already know. See, to be honest with you, once this is available for $20 in the bargain bin, I might grab it then. But as far as a full price purchase is concerned, I can't really see myself grabbing it at launch.
No, first off, I love Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Yes, you do. That's right.
Yes, the story of that one is great. I loved all of the Pokemon, and it's still going to be there on the DS. We still have Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun, and these ones that you can go back to and play competitively on the DS. I don't know, something in me just wants to support it on a console. It's also an excuse for me to get a Switch Lite. So, for me, I don't like. It's never been about the National Dex for me. Like, it's always been nice and the National Dex is there. But I don't know, I liked it when, they were more insular. Now, like, because Pokemon Red's probably my favorite. It's probably between that and Soul Silver as far as my favorite entries into it. And, like, I just don't have that big of a problem into, no National Dex, this and that. Because, I don't know, I feel like them saying that they're going to go along and do this in... Well, okay, so it starts out with, so they handmade all the sprites for the Sun and Moon games, okay?
Yeah.
And they made them in such a way that they were going to try and put them onto the Switch. Unfortunately, there was some miscommunication, and they had to scrap all of those. And so that's why they were set back on the National Dex, is what we understand to be currently as the major problem. Is because they do such meticulous sprite work, and because, they had already done all the models for Sun and Moon, they thought that I had most of their work done, and they were just working on the newest models. And so I could definitely understand it as being more a time crunch. Now, as far as like Game Freak saying that they, they're going forward and, this and that, because there's been some entries that have been like 2 or 3 or 4 years apart. It's definitely not something that has it's not an annual game. It's not something that has an always time limit on it whenever they release a new one. And so, I don't know, I feel like I do want to support the new venture. Even if it's something that I don't particularly, if it ends up that it's something that I don't really care for. But I think people are just getting way too much up in arms about, because... I mean, my favorite Pokemon aren't even going to be in this one, but that's fine to me, because I don't know, I just want to experience the newness of the game. It also depends on, whenever it first comes out, the ratings and this and that, but I think people are just, too nostalgic about it, because series change, they move towards a new direction. I'm not saying that this is exactly where Pokemon should have gone, but I mean, like, I'm willing to give it a shot.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, whenever people are like, oh, they're just redoing this, redoing that, can you believe it, blah, 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 and then they go around and say, oh man, I can't believe they're not keeping the game that I like the same for the 50th time,
Yeah, that's fair.
It's kind of a bit hypocritical, and I think we're kind of in that loop right now. Not to say that that's the reason why everybody's saying that, but it definitely seems to be some of the consensus.
Yeah. If there was a complaint in that way, I would make, it would be that I wish they would change it harder. Like, what do you call it? Friggin', I could care less that it's like only the what do you call it, Pokemon in this region, or they're cutting the list to this much. I want it to just feel very different. What do you call it? Like, we've had the, well, what you call it? The world has had the discussion on how Mario kind of feels the same, but what you call it? Like, Nintendo's kind of gone that direction of just like, yeah, we can still use the same formula, but like drastically change the world around it, and it's still like feel new.
Yeah.
And I want to see that done for Pokemon. I want to feel like, what you call it? This is the same stuff I've always been doing, but it feels new to me, and it feels fresh.
Well, I mean, they've done different things over the girls. They've done different things over the years with like Pokemon Dungeon and like what was it, the Sekigahara game, where it's like a what was it? It was a battle tactics game.
Oh yeah, like, Pokemon Tactic. Conquest.
Yeah.
Conquest, yeah. Mm-hmm. They've done all different sort. They've done like they've given it the Mario treatment where they've had different like Pokemon Pinball and Pokemon. What was the one that was like Tetris? I can't remember the one that was like Tetris. Pokemon Drop, maybe? I can't remember.
Pokemon Puzzle League.
Yeah.
There's that one, but there's another one I'm talking about as well. I remember that one, but yeah, I mean they've definitely mixed up the formula, but nothing has been more popular than the main series.
Yeah.
Like at all, but it's definitely I don't know. I feel like people are making it into a bigger thing than it needs to be, at least with the complaints that I'm seeing.
That's fair.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just more, used to change. I don't know. For me, it's always been about the new Pokemon, and I like getting the old Pokemon whenever I'm done with the game and building like better teams. But for the main line, I like to try out. I'm like, oh, is this one gonna be good? Is this one gonna be good? I like a totally fresh start.
Yeah.
And so, that's how it is in the anime too. Like that's how they build, like the inspiration around it. Like every time Ash goes to a new region, he gets new Pokemon. He somehow loses his last team, except for maybe 1 or 2 stragglers and Pikachu.
I don't know. What do you call it? I've always liked in the series the fact that he just drops all of them off at Professor Oak's office. And just like there's 50 Tauros just like charging around his office at all times.
Well, he's got that whole like herd of Tauruses from freaking the Safari Zone.
Yeah, but just like I remember one of the phone calls, just like they run across the video call, just trampling him. I enjoy that aspect of Pokemon, and I do believe that's the appeal to the games at the start, that you can kind of just like start new.
Been like for me, it's just that's the sort of like the spirit of it to me,
Definitely.
I hadn't noticed that the Pokemon universe got a Skype quite before we did. Yeah, they had.
Oh yeah, it was always you could always video call people from the first series. Yeah. Like that time that Ash called Professor Oak and he was eating tofu and he's like, "Oh no, you're not eating my Kingler, are you?"
No, it's one of Brock's jelly donuts. Oh, okay.
I'm still tripping over the fact that it's just like, we don't know what Pokemon meat is. It's just Pokemon meat. Yeah. No Pokemon actually gets eaten, but we have Pokemon meat.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the Pokemon Sun and Moon get around this because all the dishes in the places you go to are vegetarian.
Mm-hmm. But
so, besides like milk and eggs and other things like that, like they have like sweets, they have the masalas and everything like that. But,
so.
No, it's definitely. I don't know. The Pokemon controversy to me seems like mostly just hubbub. Yeah, there's technical things that are gonna be wrong with it. Yeah, this and that. Yeah, they said they won't patch it for national decks, but it's a new step in the new direction. So I want to at least feel it out some, but after it comes out, before I make my decision.
Question. Did you call it? Did the Pokemon Bank cost money?
It's a subscription fee that's $6, like, for a year.
Okay, and does that go into the national decks and everything, or how does that go into the national decks and everything? Is that?
Yeah, you can sort any Pokemon from any game that could be played on the 3DS.
Okay, so did you call it? I would say that's the problem.
Well, the problem is they have no interest right now, or plans rather, not interest, but no plans right now to bring the Pokemon Bank to the Switch. So
then cancel the Pokemon Bank.
Well, no, there's still. I mean, they still do like Pokemon tournaments. You know.
Yeah, true.
The new 3DS. So I mean, even though the Switch Lite is probably going to be replacing the 3DS, even though they officially said it wouldn't be. It's probably going to replace it because people say it feels so good in their hands. It's the right size. You know, they
feels so good in my hands, girl.
Well, they what was it? They call it They call it product cannibalism.
Yeah.
Is when you accidentally create a product for your company that cannibalizes the profits of another product you already have.
Yeah.
And so that's basically what's going to be. Everybody's already all the game news outlets, all the independent reporters have basically said, yeah, this is going to replace the Switch. It's going to replace the new 3DS because it's so good.
Okay.
Plus, you can play all the Switch games on there. So
yeah. So
girls, I swear.
Did you go?
Give me the possum. There's the rabbit in that squeak.
Monthly manga reviews also featuring Fiona and what?
Fiona Chan and Frankie
Fiona
Coon.
Chan and Frankie Coon. That's right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really looking forward to meeting those dogs.
Oh, they love pizza. But yeah, that was it. So right now they're playing with Friend Frog, and we have Sergeant Rabbit, and then we got Potassium Possum. Because I dropped a banana on it once. But yeah, so that's the state of affairs and everything like that. So let's wrap this up then. So
yay!
I don't think we're gonna be able to get another one of these out by Christmas. So we'll see you in the new year.
we will probably be seeing you in the new year. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Now we'll probably invite Jonathan to our Thanksgiving cast.
Yeah.
Woo.
For our regular SAF opportunities, even though Sterling isn't here, and even though we couldn't get a Halloween episode together, hopefully we'll get a Thanksgiving episode together. We'll be much more diligent this time. It's unfortunate we are all just a little too busy this Halloween to get something together. So on time, as a lot of people did this year. There's a lot of animators who didn't get stuff out yet on time. So
geez.
Once the new year comes around and we can settle down with the new schedule. Maybe we can even see about that Tomo cast that keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah, there's Tomo cast. Yes, and I want to get through the first 100 chapters of Beastars as well and review that. So I think that would be a good one as well to get to. And then there's I thought Komi-san was going to end, but it's not going to end very soon. So
wow.
That one's also on the radar as Komi-san, so. But besides that, I think that we're going to wrap this up. We'll announce eventually, whenever we figure out what our next homework's going to be. And, we'll snuggle up underneath the communal kamatsu and just read some manga and eat some peeled, candied oranges for New Year's.
Right. Do you know whose turn it is next?
Let's see. This was my pick.
Yes.
So.
Your pick, Matt.
Yeah, I believe it's Matt's pick
Oh, okay.
again.
There we go.
Because the Voynich Hotel was.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. Well, we will get around to that most likely in the new year. So, you folks have your. I guess we don't really have to sign off for the year because of the Christmas cast. But as far as the
Yeah, we'll be like I said, other SAF opportunities will continue. We had a little bit of SAF moments here, because Tende Freeze, like we said, it's such a nice little morsel. It's important to review, but it's also fairly easy to spoil because it's such a short series. So, go out, enjoy yourself. We'll be back at Thanksgiving with other manga and non-manga related topics. So, expect more video game talk and much more anime talk then. So, until then, we're signing off.
Bye, everyone.
Take care, folks.